Thank you very much. Everybody's Yom Kotzer v'Amalocha Meruba v'Apoyelim Atzelim.
What's that? The workers are.
The day is short. And there's a lot of work, and the workers are lazy. Balabai is doing.
This is why all the migrants are coming.
They used to. We'll talk about the migrants in a second. The migrants, the south of the border workers.
They're very good.
They're letting him in, but they should let the pack.
So okay. So you know what? We're starting today with Apoyelim, with the start. Someone asked a shayla. He's a Apoyel. Lamazon, he's working in a hat store. So, and he wants to know, Beina LaBeina, the customers, there's no customers in the store. Is he allowed to open a Gemara and learn a little bit of Gemara? So, in my mind, I right away had an answer, but because the health Davish that we have this thing of Sunday morning. So what's the connection? This is a classical Shaila. Why is it contemporary Shaila? It is a contemporary Shaila, as you'll see in a second. There is a din that the Gemara learns from Yaakov Avinu. He said, "B'kol koich chavadtem savichte." A person has to work b'kol koich. There's a whole discussion. We once spoke about it 2-3 years ago. A whole thing of the Achidush Rambam, the Alter Rebbe. Is there two dinim? You have to work plus b'kol koich, or it's one din. The work you have to do is b'kol koich, but you're not allowed to waste. And so much so that originally they made a special takana to make a shorter version of Birchas Hamazon for workers, not to be mevatel malachas balabais. Even though now in Shulchan Aruch it's brought now, the Rebbe brings a Shulchan Aruch that we accept that every Jewish balabais is not makpid, and if his worker is eating lunch, that he's happy that he should with a zimun, and he should do the whole full benching. But poskim say even now, if he's eating with other workers, that he's not allowed to say I'm not tzaddik, I'm going to wait for a zimun. That even today he shouldn't do. So we see that there is an unbelievable thing about being careful in malachas balabayis. So Friday I'm talking to someone. He tells me I can't get workers. I said, what do you mean south of the border? They're all flooding the town. He says, yeah, but it used to be that the guys came here south of the border and they had skill. And he says today there's very shvar. He says I was just on a job. He says there were four white folks on the job. He says I'm there. I'm 57 years old. There were 2 60-year-old men. It was a complicated job. It was changing a tank under the ground, and we needed to use expensive equipment. And the fourth guy was an 85-year-old man that's in a nursing home, and he's so bored. And one of the guys does him a toiva, and he's a bal malacha. He knows what he's doing, so he's standing with his cane, and Agita Eitza, you know what to do. He says, "What's going to be in America in 20 years? This is you can't in his words have a heka peka pulling out the tank like this from under the ground and reconnecting a brand new tank. You need to know. You need to have a little bit of skill, and you need to have a willingness to work a bissel also." So. The Torah says that there's a thing about working with kol koichik. So, but here, this question, I'll tell you why I had a shayla in my mind. This is a separate thing. It's interesting that this din is not even brought in Shulchan Aruch. The Alter Rebbe brings it, the Rambam brings it, the Shulchan Aruch doesn't even bring it. It's a Tosefta. The Tosefta says, it's a different din. It's not that you're not working with kol koichik. What happens? There's no customers now in the store, right? No one's buying a new hat. No one's coming in to steam a hat. 10 minutes, there's nothing happening in the store. So you can't say I'm not working b'kol koichi. If part of my job would have been to stock the shelves, okay, I have to stock the shelves. I finished stocking the shelves. Okay, what now? If part of my job is to sweep, I swept the floor. Okay, what now? The floor is swept. It's clean. The hats are stocked on the shelf. And now there's no customers. What would mitzad the din of b'kol koichi of adati, mitzad the din of working b'kol koichi, you can't say, what do you mean? He did b'kol koichi, but now there's 10 minutes of a lull. But there's a separate tosefta that the Rambam brings Halacha, and it's interesting, as I mentioned, Shulchan doesn't bring it. Why is akasha? But the Shulchan and the Alter Rebbe brings it Halacha, that if I'm paying someone to sit in my grocery store, and there's a lull of a quiet time, he's not allowed to do anything else. Why? Because it's implicit that I want that he should have his eyes and to make sure that the ganovim are not going to come in and steal. There has to be ein avalachanus. So the question is, so why is it a contemporary shaila? So the answer is because today there's videos. So there's videos, there's sensors. I'm not sure this store punkt that a lot of stores have that when the door opens up, the workers can hear that there's a beep that someone came in. So because that there is a beep at the door and there's cameras all over. So why should they have to be ein avalachanus? So that's my question, and that's how we'll look into this shayla. Let's read it quickly in the Alter Rebbe.
Usually the steps happen when the cook is busy with customers, not when you're
Not when he's sitting azoi.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear.
When we occupied.
Right.
Well, it could be organized in the shelves.
No, if he has to, this is nishkin shayla. If he has a job to organize the shelves, he can't open up a gemara. That's no shayla. If part of his job description is to
Even if it's done, like the customer comes in, moves something, so he needs the back. Like he's busy.
that's not a shayla. He must do all that. That's also goma to learn a shtickle gemara until he didn't complete his job. The shayla is he did everything in his job. The store is clean, it's in order, everything's in place. He did his job. Now there's 10 minutes of doing nothing. Is he allowed to open up a gemara? So that's that. Let's read it quickly in the Alter Rebbe. Kach oni muze shelo yevatel malachas balabais vivatel maatkan moitzi kolayam b'mirma. Like employers say today, it's fair. Like if workers, you go into a place. Nemesis takazai. You go into a place, and the workers, you almost don't want to disturb them. They're sitting on their phone playing games, and you walk in and like, hello, is someone home? You're annoying them. So if it's taka, small thing, you might walk out. You push or walk out. Okay, so the balabayis is losing out of it. The balabayis is losing out of it. So to say that everyone does it today and to say that it's umdana, that it's mutter to do, is chas v'shalom to say. Todas emes doesn't change, and it's not true to say it's umdana. All the employers today are complaining that it's not fair. That I pay more to talk to me. But don't bring your cell phone to work. Don't talk to your mother-in-law. Don't talk to your mother. Don't talk to your cousin, and don't be playing games on your thing. So that's not you can't say that it's umdana, that it's mutter today because people are doing it. Omar. וכל כוח עבדתי מסביכן לפיכך נוטל סקודי אבויד מזה שנמה ויפרץ איש מאוד מאוד לפיכך אין הפועל רשי לעשות מלאכה בלילה להזכיר עצר ביום he can't double dip וכן אין אודם רשי לעשות מלאכה במדהמתה בלילה להזכיר ביום ואין הפועל רשי להרי ולסגה ועצמו שרים אחלש כוח ולא יכול לעשות מלאכה בבת בית וכן המלאמה צריך לעזור בכל זה וכן עושה לו ליס ניר בלילה יוסם מבדי נשעוצל ביום בלימודי a Rabbi in a cheder, he's not allowed to go to sleep late. It's also to go to sleep late because next day he can't teach well. Not because he'll be in time or late.
Tired.
He can be timed, but he's going to be tired. Can also laharbas b'meichel metamza. Shameichel maybe shina v'atz. That's still, it's all part of the job. If he took upon himself the job to be a Rebbe, he has to sleep good at night. He can't sit there doing whatever he wants to do and then go to sleep late and then be next day tired. And he can't eat lunch, a heavy fleishik lunch, and he gets tired. and then he can't teach well. The last few lines, Alter Rebbe takes from a Tosefta, which the Rambam brings in Perek Zayin, Halacha Zayin, in Hilchos Shluchim. So the mocker of this thing is really in the Maramakomis. It says Tosefta. It's a Tosefta, but Metzia Perek Halacha Zayin. It says over there, Moshe was chavei b'chanus l'machtzes chad. Imay uman lo yasek b'mnusa l'visheinei l'vachanus b'shar shoysek b'mnusa. Imay yoshutef imay b'chanus muter. It's interesting. The Alter Rebbe doesn't bring the sefer. It's hard to imagine it because it's not the halacha. The Alter Rebbe just brought it b'kitzur. The Rambam does bring it. Imay yoshutef imay b'chanus muter. What happens if the worker is also a partner in the business? It's muter. So why should it be muter? What's different? So the Rabbi Cheskel Abramsky, his big sefer was Chazon Yecheskel on the Tosefta. Rabbi Cheskel Abramsky was a very choshevet Rav. He was a Rav in Slutsk, and he was zoiche. He was zoiche to be like one of the Lubavitcher Chassidim. He was zoiche to sit in the Russian Gulag for a little bit, for his stubbornness to stand strong as his Rav in Slutsk. There's a whole conversation he had with the Frierdiker Rebbe when he came out. So the upshot was the Frierdiker Rebbe said, "You're not putting on film, and you're not saying doing the mitzvahs that when you were in jail was more precious than the mitzvahs that you did before." Something like that. I'm quoting it wrong or something. He went on to live Arichas Yomim V'Shonim Tovus, and he was a Rav in London. Then he was in Eretz Yisrael. He wrote this big sefer, this Chazon Yecheskel, on the Tosefta. So he brings two pshatim. Why is it if I have a partner that I'm allowed to do a umnas acheres? One pshat he says in the Magen Avram, which I don't understand which Magen Avram. There's no, this halacha is not even Shulchan Aruch, so maybe there's a Magen Avram on the Tosefta. I don't know. One pshat he says because if I have a shutif and he sees me learning a little bit Gemara and he's saying nothing, says Michael. He says Michael. So if that was true, what's the difference if it's a shutuf employer? So I could say, you see, the word is imay bechanus. But then why is the Tosefta to say a shutuf? So I'm not sure. The other pshat I like better. The second pshat is, what's the point? Why am I not allowed to do something else? Because I'm not looking at the store and a ganav could come steal. But the shutuf is sitting right there. You look. Why should I look? I want to look at Gemara right now. You look at the should no one should steal from the chanus. We're shutfim. My rois the dama the derech sumchas tvei.
Ladies' eyes are open. This is the gave them.
No, because he's a shutuf is negay. Yeah, you're saying because he's
even looking down, but he's really
yeah. That's right. I like that. Yeah, if he's a shutuf, a stam another worker. Yeah, this worker, 10 workers.
some of my workers they don't pick up the phone.
Exactly. It's an owner. So because he's an owner, you could say, again, we're only talking about that there's no customers, and he's doing umnas acheres while there's no other customers. So I would say in this case, is I guess, if he did all that he needs to do, the shelves are stocked, everything is nice, and now he wants to sit and learn a little daf yomi. He's not going to learn it be'iyun gadol. He's going to pay attention. If the door opens, he's right away going to stop thinking learning. So the point is that maybe someone's going to steal. But Bisman is there that there's cameras and you hear how the door open. They're not so I would say that it should be muted. But again, it has to be mamish that if he's not learning it be'iyun gadol, that a customer walks in, because that's the way it is. Customers walk into a store and they see that the salesman is busy. Last week it was my wife's birthday, so I went to a store to buy her a gift. The salesman was busy. I got a phone call. You know what? I bought it the gift, but it was in a different store. Chomishkin tinus, but I got a phone call. I was waiting like a tata. I got a phone call. I walked out of the store. I guess why I was in the store. A few hours later, I have to buy a gift. I went to a different store and I bought a gift. So I saw from that for sure this lagabe de shaila, a person has to be alert. But the reason why it's also lachitz malach acheres she'ein alachanus, if there's cameras and there's a door, especially if the balabas walks by and the balabas is not moiche, that's the best thing. Now, if the person is shaykh to ask the balabas, that would be even better. It's just sometimes if a person starts working in a place and starts asking such shaylas about the balabayas, in the Balabayas mind, it sounds like a guy who doesn't really want to work. He wants to sit and learn a Kollel. So, but if the person eventually could make it clear with the Balabayas and say, by the way, if I hear even a crackle at the door, I close the Gemara. I'm not learning the Iyun over here, the Toisus and the Marsha. It's just that everything is stocked and everything is clean and everything is good and I'm paying attention towards the door. Fine, there's 5-10 minutes for was nicht. It's your schus. That would be the best. And the Balabas says yes, is good.
Did the Balabas get a little chayil for learning?
He could say that to the Balabas. and then just by saying that is already the Balabas has a schus. And then it's good. The BAM is good. I think it's a good idea what you said. But if he just started working the first week or two, he might not want to do that because the Balabas will think he's not serious. So as long as he's making sure that every customer, as soon as the door opens, or if there's a chshad that maybe there's a gneve or whatever, that Einav Alachanus, because I don't think that this din is a chelik in lavoid b'kol koyche. Lavod b'kol koyche is whatever your job is, you have to do b'kol koyche. So your job is to stock the shelves, to make sure it's clean, it's neat. You did b'kol koyche. So now there's a lull of 5 minutes. You have to be ein alachanus. There shouldn't be a gneva.
Okay. Does the worker have a din of a shem safa?
It's a separate child. If there's a gneva there, if he could have saved, if he couldn't have, did he do? Was it an oinus? Was it not an oinus? Okay, let's go quickly to second child. Time is mamish flying. Someone asked me a shaila this week. He's going to a hospital because his mother's never sick. She should have taken a full shleima. And he wanted to know if Shabbos by day, he can put on the talis and walk. It's close to Yiddish neighborhood. He can walk to shul. But by the time he goes and comes, a few hours pass. No, his mother might not care, but he's asking, what do I think about it? What's more important? Here, Kriyas HaTorah daven for minion, or he could daven in the hospital, be yechidus, and be more available for his mother. So, I think the answer is like this: there's 2 points. Number one is kibbud of aim is the raisa, and daven with a minion, and also Kriyas HaTorah, if you should say it's a chiyuv for the yochid, is the rabban. And a lot of things like lately we did the Mishnah Brura with a person has a conflict between it's a chavim between Ma'ariv and Ner Chanukah. The Mishnah Brura says Ma'ariv Odif because if he didn't say Krishmi yet, that's their rice and it's their Rabbanon. So that could be one thing. And the other thing I was thinking is there's a Indian of Oisik b'mitzvah potem and a mitzvah. I remember hearing once a Moedik Kashir from Rabbi Yoshe Soloveitchik Zacharin Lavrocha. He used to give like the Yortzeit shir for it was packed. It was the whole the auditorium in Yeshiva University was packed, and I heard it.
Yiddish or
He used to give it in Yiddish, rich Yiddish. So I listened sometimes to the audio. It was just because the rich Yiddish is so nice with the lomdus and the theatrics. It's unbelievable. So he said Ben Advorim that in this week's parsha, the Eibusha says. Actually, it's next week's parsha. It's connected to this week. It says, "V'yikach Moshe atzmas Yosef imod." So the Chazal asked, "Why is only Moshe taking atzmas Yosef? We're all the Yidden." Chazal say, they were busy because it says in this week's parsha that you should tell them that they should v'shol isha mishchenta megor is basically chesed v'chleizov. So the Yidden were busy collecting the money from the Mitzrayim, and that was a mitzvah. So sort of Soloveitchik said that Chazal it sounds like negative. Makam Lev Yikach mitzvahs that Moshe Rabbeinu took a mitzvah and all the Yidden were busy with money. So Zokter of Soloveitchik, no. Oisik b'mitzvah, potem in a mitzvah. The Eibishter gehasten that they should collect the money. Moshe Rabbeinu did lifnim meshura sadin, whatever. But that was a cute word.
Paid by the community.
Huh?
He's a rabbi. Paid by the community.
So he didn't need
to take his own.
He didn't have to take his own. So, but the other Yidden, he said, "Zalim mitzvos or oisik b'mitzvah." That's for the mitzvah. It's beautiful for. So, if a person is busy, the din is with those along 3 program last week. We finished Sefer. We finished Sefer Nezikin. That a person is shomer aveda shomer sacher. Why? Because if he's shaking the talis that he found, it shouldn't get moldy. and the oni is knocking on the door, he doesn't have to go give tzedakah. So why? Because I said mitzvah part of we don't say how big or small. And if you're doing now a mitzvah, you're part of from the other mitzvah.
You have to wash the swing, put down the towel and go to the door.
And that's when it's a big pilpul. We once did it about Efshalash Shnei. It's a shayla, but sapela. But that's the din. The din is that we say he's potter. Maybe it's talking about because Efshalash Shnei, because when he's going to start. But in this case is like this. Here's the thing. A person could say like this. That if his mother really needs him, so then not only is it part from going down, and it's also for him to go down. But if his mother doesn't really need him, but for it, it's lonely to be alone for 4 hours. It's lonely to be alone 4 hours. And say the mother says, Michael, go to shul. Yeah. Yankel, go to shul daven. There's a shul, you can catch him and you go daven. Now, every person's different. If she insists they should go daven, so whatever. She says, look, if you want to go davening, why not go down? That's that. So if you say mitzad the chiyuv of kibbud aveim, a parent could be moichel on their club. But if you say mitzad oisag mitzvah potem and a mitzvah, it's and a person could say ef shalakayim, but they're saying this is not ef shalakayim because lepoil the 4 hours I'll be away, she will be lonely. And if there is a question that arises about a medical attention, this and that, I was not there to help make decisions. So mitzad the chiyuv of the Rais, so listen, but she was moichel. Mitzad the second thing, which is that oisik b'mitzvah is poter min mitzvah. So right now, even though the mitzvah is not, he's sitting and he's telling her a story at Vartoida. He's sitting stamazor in a chair and reading Tehillim while she is sleeping, but she knows that there's pas b'saloi, that his son is sitting nearby, so she feels better from that alone. So Lapoil is oisik b'mitzvah. Lapoil is oisik b'mitzvah. So it's poter min mitzvah. So that's why there's a mile of thinking of both svaras together. Because the mitzad the first svaras, if your mother really needs, it's also to go davening. Mitzad the second svara, even if the mother says, I don't care, you can go, but he could decide that he wants to finish this mitzvah and do it b'shleimus, and therefore, I say, mitzvah is potem min mitzvah.
What if people gather at 6 o'clock in the morning?
But that's not shaykh because he has to sleep. So and the achoila it has the pleasure of having someone to be there for them. So whenever he sleeps, so if he went to sleep later, he stayed with his mother later. When he woke up, when the choilim sleep and go, I mean, yeah, versteht. So F shalakayim is F shalakayim. But a lot of times with a choila, it doesn't work that way, especially in a hospital. Right. So the decisions are always, so at some point, the davar can't shlofen, what they're going to do. So he has to go sleep. So for whatever amount of hours he sleeps, that he must do anyway. So if he goes to sleep later, wakes up later, goes, that's already not counted. Someone asked me a shaila. He bought an oil field in California. Oh, what a headache. David Shalom should be matzliach. But anyway, the Vaila had the shaila. So these big companies, just to explain a little bit, Shaila, how does a good Jewish boy in Brooklyn own an oil field in California? It's not as exciting as you think. So these big companies, they explore for oil, and they have oil fields, and they have pumps that you see, like these machines that go up and down. That it's 100, 200, 300 feet in the ground. It's a mechanism. It's like a very simple. It's like a plunger. It's a pump. In the bottom, under 200 or 300 feet, there's a pump, and it pumps, and then it picks out from Matachas Adoma the oil, and the oil flows in pipes, and then they end up in these big containers. So there's some of these companies. In the first 10, 20 years, get geschmiert. That's all good. After 10 years, they have a formula. After 10 years or whatever, 15 years. So a lot of things, first of all, machines start to break, doesn't flow as much as it was. There's still a ton of oil. But still, these companies, they don't want to have to deal with problems now. They have their actuarians work it all out for them. First 10 years, the machines are, unless there's mamish, a faulty machine or something. But for the first 10 years, you never need any maintenance, nothing. Sometimes you drive by these places, they look like brand new machines. You see, as long as the eye could see, you see hundreds of, and they're going up and down and up and down and up and down. Also get. After 10 years, they sell it. And then people sell it to people sell it, people it's on the open market, so you could have
They sell the machine.
everything. It's sold lock, stock, and barrel is sold. So you could buy one pump, two pump, three pumps, four pumps. You could buy 100, and then they get divided and subdivided. V'chulu, v'chulu, v'chulu. So this person bought 3 or 4 pumps, and then they all connected to pipes that end up. It's funny. These companies make money from Alazai. So say ExxonMobil. So what are you going to do if you have 5 pumps? So you pump out 2-3 barrels a day. What are you going to do with 3 barrels? You're going to go to the gas station in the corner and bring them 4 barrels.
Fine.
Has to be refined. So they have to process it. Anyway, it's not. You're going to bring a barrel. You're going to pour it in. So you're selling it back. Well, it's like every business. You got to know what you're doing when you go in. Huh?
You're gambling.
Your mom is gambling. So he took a gamble. The violet's not going that good. Because what's the problem? The problem is the reason why ExxonMobil is selling. Oh, and they buy the oil from you at a good price. It's fine. If everything is going good, you're making money. If everything is going good, you're actually making money. Because
They
they
want to leverage the risk. They sell the risk.
what to say? They sell the risk.
They have a guarantee.
And the oil kimps, it's a guy. And
For them, it's a good deal either way.
mamish a good deal. Now you hear what's the risk they're selling. These machines are old. The smallest things that crack, a screw, a screw, a bolt that cracks, but it's 200 or 300 feet under the ground. So that's again a few goyim and commonly ill, like south of the border guys nicht helfen because you need people that are sporutz, they have experience and charitzutz. This is like a job. It's not the hardest in the world, but it's a job. See, and you got to do a little bit of seichel and a little bit of hard work. You got to pull out the whole, from the under the ground. You got to fix it. You got to pull it back up. And any loose piece that fell apart, you got to either flush it down or you got to bring it up. It's an avodah gedolah. So this guy, unfortunately, he's not making the money he thought he's making. The viola, he has the headache beyond what he realized the headaches are. So he has a goy that's on site, and if there's a problem, the goy there's a company that will service for you. Alamachin gelda. And there's the guy is going to call a company. Again, these are sub. That this is not these They don't show up with these fancy ExxonMobil trucks. They come with these Tarantas that are trucks that were built in 1960 that they fixed it in their own garage. That are working hard to make a buck, and they'll work 24/7. Now, the mangefal mashayla. In New York, Shabbos comes in 3 hours before Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, Shabbos goes out 3 hours after New York. And a few weeks ago, it was Erev Shabbos, and there was mayhem in one of the pumps. So the guy called him before Shabbos, and he said, "Yeah, call Pliny Ben Pliny, and they'll take care of it." Yeah. So he's allowed to have a guy working for him in 2 ways. When a Friday, when by him it's already Shabbos, he already was Makabel Shabbos, but in California it's 3 hours before Shabbos. Is he allowed to have workers there working for him? And the same thing Faket after he made Avdola. But over there in California is not Shabbos. Is he allowed to have? So he asked me the Shaila. Veina Lebena, he asked the Shaila to a very big Choshev Poisek in Lubavitch. And that Poisek, he tells me, I still have to ask that person because he told me that Poisek told him that the Alter Rebbe holds L'chumra and the 3 hours before and the 3 hours after. I can't imagine that he ever said such a thing because it wouldn't make sense. If you're saying L'chumra one way, why would you say L'chumra the other way? You would say one way L'chumra and one way L'kula. It's hard for me to comprehend, and I'll explain in a minute.
Oh, the guy behind the pump.
Yeah, it's too much for me. That's already. I want to be making on both sides, and we'll get to that. But I know now. So I asked him, where do you, one second.
He's a contract worker.
One second.
No more.
One second.
You're going.
One second.
The basics.
One second. So he said that this is a befedische Alter Rebbe in Siman Reish Samach Gimel, Kuntres Achren Sivkot and Ches. So, in this 15 minutes that we have, we're not going to learn that Kuntres Achren. Be'ezes Hashem Yisborach, we will learn the Kuntres Achren. Why? Because this winter we dedicated ourselves to learning Ner Chanukah and Ner Shabbos. And it's a sugya so geschmack that more fun than a human being is allowed to have. We're learning the sugya is unbelievable. Now, the main sugya of Ner Shabbos is Siman Reish Samach Gimel, which is a very ungeschwollen big simon, and there's 8 kuntas achrons like this, and this is the last kuntas achron. So we're going to learn it anyway. So maybe this week or next week or in a month or 2 months. So, but I just want to talk about this. Yeah.
Contract in the Morris Ein.
Maras Ayin is a good question.
Was the
Maras
Maras
Ayin
Ayin
is a
over
good
there?
question. Yes, well, I want to talk about it in a minute. Maras Ayin is like this. We'll get
So
to
these
that.
people on a contract, like you have a lady coming, you have to hang her on Shabbos. She's coming
There's no
on-
contract here. That's the problem. They are schide yoim. There's no kabbalonus over here. They don't want to take kabbalonus. Kabbalonus means they don't want to do such a thing. Because the liability is too big.
Saying that
They're
people- they're working day by day.
They
People
working
that are-
hour by hour, not even day by day. They
Are you
working.
talking about the people, the emergency fixing crew, or
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
So that's
they're working hour by hour.
That could be
and
problematic.
that's problematic, right? So that's what we're going to talk about.
But you mentioned also that his business doesn't operate in a vacuum. He's relying on other companies for everything, for the piping as well. They're essentially their partner. Essentially,
They're not partners.
I
You're
understand.
paying them for the job or for the hour.
He has got basically ExxonMobil, whatever.
They're buying it from him.
Even
They're not partners. It would be
Pumping on
beautiful.
Shabbos?
Huh?
He's pumping on Shabbos.
He's pumping a Shabbos, Shvitzes Kalem. Who cares?
Oh.
There's no Shvitzes Kalem b'Shabbos. Mashiach will come. Maybe b'Shabbos will win the argument. It's not anders.
it's what would you say? It's not true.
It's the halacha is your Kalem don't have to rest on Shabbos. Your Kalem are allowed to work for you on Shabbos.
How about if somebody bring his car to fix 2 hours before Shabbos and he leaves? Now the mechanic will fix it on Shabbos. Is he allowed to do that?
And so it depends. If the mechanic,
Not Jewish.
if the goy has, if you're picking it up and there theoretically was time before and after Shabbos for him to do it, and there's no sticker on it saying I support Israel, v'chulu, 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 and no one could tell that it's a Jewish car, then he's allowed to do it on Shabbos. Yes.
Over here.
So let me get to here. So the kitzer, there's a geschmack kuntazachen. And this, let me go back and ask another shaila.
Mechanic charges out.
No, then chas v'shalom. Then chas v'shalom.
What's mechanic charge?
I'm talking about if it was a job that was like a fender bender or something. Oh, okay. I don't want to go into that. So we'll just back up one more step. There's a shaila that the Chabina Ruv has and many other places can speak about, and he also invokes this Alter Rebbe. There's a Yid in New York who has a company in Israel. It's Achne Shel Pesach. He is sitting with his family jumping on matzah. Is he allowed to, is his workers in Eretz Yisrael allowed to run the factory? Yes or no? So there's a big discussion about this. And the Shabbat Ruf says, look in the Alter Rebbe and this Kuntas Achron. The problem is he misquotes the Kuntas Achron, and in the poorly, here's the Kuntas Achron. Here's just the Nakuda of it, and you don't have to trust me. When we're learning inside, you'll see yourself if I'm telling you over the Kuntas Achron Kamoshihi. The din in Shulchan Aruch is that a person is Makabel Shabbos 2 hours early. He's allowed to tell his Chaver to do Malacha for him. And that's a Befedish Rashba in the name of Toisus. We don't have it in our Toisus, but the Rashba spoke to one of the Balai Toisus, and the Toisus said that he learned it from the din that on Shabbos a Jew is allowed to tell another Jew, you're allowed to walk there. I'm not allowed to walk there. I have a field of Pedas. Please do me a favor. Keep an eye that the Ganovim shouldn't steal it. So all the Poskim say, how did the Toisus that Rashba learn like Manya Shemitah it's Larzina? Very, very complicated. Huh?
What's sure about Pedas?
Never mind what's Shvet. We'll learn the Kunsachen inside. You'll see what's Shvet. But just the answer. The Alter Rebbe says that here's an axiom. This is the big chiddush of the Alter Rebbe. He says that it's a simon bracha, just like wine. Wine means there'll be extra wine. When money spills, is extra geld. So the Alter Rebbe says that what happens? I'm a Kabbalah Shabbos 2 hours early. I'm a Kabbalah with it tonight. I am not going to do malacha, but why shouldn't I let someone else do malacha for me? A woman lights Shabbos candle, right? After she lights Shabbos candle, she's allowed to tell her husband, "Oh, I forgot to turn on the oven, to turn off the oven. Could you please turn on the fire on the blech? Could you go up? Oh, yo, in the bedroom, I forgot to turn off the light. I forgot to turn on the heater. The air conditioner is off."
She's not for the whole household.
She's makabel for herself. She's not makabel mitzvah shebegufa. That's the chiddush the Alter Rebbe says. She was makabel Shabbos. I'm not going to do malach. Same thing, matzah Shabbos. Matzah Shabbos. If he wants to keep Shabbos 72 minutes, l'chumra, he's allowed to tell another yid to do malacha for him. Why? Because when he's makabel Shabbos for the extra time, mitzvah shebegufa is makabel. But he's not makabel to not tell someone else to do malacha for him. That he wasn't makabel. That's the chiddush of the Alter Rebbe. And that's what he said. But Tosfos had a different problem. On Shabbos is medaber mitzoychef tzacham medaber dover. You're not allowed to say deburim shel choil. So for that he said, just like I'm Shabbos, I'm allowed to tell him, you're allowed to walk there. Could you walk there? Because he's allowed to walk. I'm allowed to say. Same thing over here. It's before Shabbos. He's allowed to do malacha. So I'm allowed. There's no medaber dover. That's the dimyan that the Tosfos and the Rashba and everyone made. This miyash of 100 shilas in the sugya, and this is now. This is where you saw this they can think. So now, if I'm in New York and there's Jews in my factory in Tel Aviv, obviously it's also for me to what? When did we say that it's mutter? When the Alter Rebbe is saying, when did the Tosfos and the Rashba Shulchan Aruch passing that it's mutter? When I was mekabel Shabbos 2 hours early, or I keep Shabbos 72 minutes late. I was mekabel on myself mitzvah shebegufoy, but I was never mekabel. I'm not going to ask someone else to do malacha for me. That was not part of my Kabbalah. But if I'm sitting in the Achin and Shal Pesach and chumping matzah, why am I eating matzah? Not because I was makabel kedusha sachag. Chachamim put on me a mitzvah. It was not up to me. If I wanted, I could have eaten a challah. I could have had mimuna 24 hours earlier and chas v'shalom. I didn't makabel Achin and Shal Pesach. The Chachamim were makabel it for me. So there's nothing is going to help. So I think what the Sirav meant was similar to this. I have Shabbos now in New York. For me, it's Shabbos. And so if for me it's Shabbos, how can I I didn't makabel Shabbos. It's really Shabbos for me. So how can I have someone doing malacha for me in California? Because it's really Shabbos for me. So he's right. You can't learn a kula from the Alter Rebbe, but you also can't learn a chumrah from the Alter Rebbe because a goy is a little different. You have to ask, when it's Shabbos for me in New York, and the goy is my shliach. Now, obviously, I'm not allowed to tell him on Shabbos or before Shabbos. I'm not allowed to tell him, do malacha for me on Shabbos. This is different. I have a manager that's looking, and I didn't tell him anything. Now, if a goy does malacha for you on Shabbos, even if you didn't ask them, you're not allowed to be nana from the malacha. Why? Because the goy is considered your shliach. Because the goy is considered. Obviously, you're not allowed to tell your manager that he should make phone calls. No. That's also gomer. Obvious. That's also gomer. Shaila is, when by me it's Shabbos, am I allowed to have a goy do for me malacha? So I have to tell you, some place can hold it also. There is a tshuva from the Betzei Lachachma, the brother of the late Zechet Tzadik Levrach, the Betzina Rav in Melbourne. He's a little cool. He says, if by you is Shabbos and you have a stockbroker, Me'ever Layam, and he's not going to do malacha derais and malacha derabonon, but he holds l'chumra. But l'kuf b'shalinyan, I'm not convinced. What does it mean that the goy is my shliach? It depends. There's famous thing that the Rebbe spoke about 3 dagas and shlichus from the Rebbe Yosef Engel. Highest dag and shlichus is alabavich shliach. Kemoisei the meshaleach mamish. That's what we're hoping. I mean, that's what we want to be. That the meshaleach is the shliach. The mela, whatever the meshaleach does, the shliach does is let's come on. There's a lower darga is yodarich the damya. It's a long hand. The lowest darga is that the nifal, whatever was done, it's as if you attribute it back. So if you'd say nifal, so it's not shaykh l'gabi Shabbos, but I didn't do anything. Obviously, when the Chacham said the goy is going to be considered my shliach, I didn't ask him anything. He turned on the light, he cooked the water. It's as if he's my shliach. I'm not allowed to be nana from it. What did they mean? Did they mean kiyod erichtet, that his hand is like my hand, or kemoisei mamish? What's an afkamina? If you say kemoisei mamish, then you'd say I am right now in California. There's one way. I am in California. So what happened if a yid jumped on a rocket ship and went to California? Maybe he's not allowed to do that on Shabbos. Well, the point when he lands in California, it's in the Shabbos. So in the Shabbos. So if you say kamoisoi that and you would say that the Mishaleach is now the Shliach. So now I am in New York, but he's in California. The chmute. But if you say it's Yodari Damya, like the Bas Paroi, that her hand got very long, Lomazogna have a nest, and my hand got very long on Shabbos, and my hand could go all the way to Los Angeles. Malara du Maloch, Vadanat. I'm in New York. What's an afkamina that my hand is very long? If I'm standing by the date line, for me it's Shabbos, I can take my hand, put on the other side, and do malacha. Gas v'sholem. I'm not allowed to.
I thought it's Shabbos in California.
Who's talking about money? Who's talking about money?
Saying the goy.
That wasn't the shaila. It wasn't the shaila. One second, let me finish. So let me finish the shaila. One second, let me finish the shaila. So if we would say that the businessman in New York, the goy that's fixing for him the pump, that he's kemoisa the mishalayach, so you'd say the yid is right now in California. You could say such a svara. But if you say it's yodarich tadamya, so it's also now. I think for a minute. Think to yourself. Chacham said that the yid could make a shlichus lagoy lechumra. To say that me and the oral became kemois and mamish. Alabavitch Chosid wants to say that I'm doing the shlichus from the Rebbe. Huh? No, but they said yes shlichus lenochri lechumra. Lechumra. Okay. So don't tell me the hechste dag in shlichus. Ich and the oral geworden ein Sach. Shlichus lenochri lechumra. Ras v'sholem. Oh yalla vadas as a klumis vore. They meant the lower darga when they said Amir Lenoch Vishlichus Semistaber, that they meant the lower darga, that it's Kiyode Arich the Damya. So I am still in New York. So I had a long hand. My hand is right now in Los Angeles. But Amir Doch Shabbos. Amir Shabbos. So Zasur. So therefore it's a little more noite. It's a little more noite to say that when by me it's Shabbos that I'm not allowed to, again, even though I didn't call and they didn't say, just that I know that the manager in the oil field is going to make the phone call, and he told me, oh, last week, David, last week, so I have to tell him, listen, Johnny, next week, if in these when it's in New York, when it's still before nightfall, please don't make any phone calls for me. But if it's in New York, it's choil. If in New York is choil, less dim less dayan that it's mutter. It's very hard to say. I don't care what you tell me in shlichus. The highest law, that doesn't matter which dayan in shlichus. Think about it for a minute, just with a clear head. Right now, it's right now for me it's choil. Right now it's for me it's choil. Right now for me it's choil. So the Chachamim said, yesh shlichus nochri v'chumri. We're going to put on you a. Right now for me it's choil. It's choil. Right now it's choil. And I went to the pizza store and I bought pizza and the chesmal avamalkem in the mishpacha and mezingt aliyo anovi liyo atishbi, and you're telling me the chachamim now put on me a din that yesh shlichus l'nochri l'chumra. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So when by me it's choil, avad it's mutter. I don't care what dargin shlichus you're saying. Oh, elamai. This is I found very much what I'm saying is in the Chelkas Yaakov, but it's very choshva poisik. And he says exactly this. He says if a yid is in New York, and right now it's choil for him, and he has a business in Zurich. He says if it's Shem Yisrael Alav, it's a chilul Hashem. Just like any time, even if you have a kabbalah doing for you, like I said, you have a fender bender in your car, but you have a big sticker. I support Israel. I'm a Shomer Shabbos. My son is an honor student in Berlin.
What car dog?
No, that doesn't matter. But so then, if I put it into Goyish mechanic, even if it's a Kabbalah and he's charging me 10,000 for the job, or he's charging it to the insurance company, but there's a maris ayin if you betaychat chum. But that doesn't apply to the oil field. Why? because there's no signs. It doesn't. No one knows. Someone that's dropped. First of all, the ruba deruba of the oil fields are out of the Tchum Shabbos.
Yeah, the starting saying Messiah is here.
Yeah, unless he has a Meshachis sign over there. But even then, it's chutz letchum. It's chutz letchum. Most these oil fields are not betoich hatchum of where Jews are. They're chutz letchum. And even if it was betoich hatchum, it's hard to imagine. There is no sign. There is pumps and pumps and pumps everywhere. There's pumps. Who knows the people that own the pumps? They know that by the number of they know which pump belongs to them. But Yid, the truth is in Los Angeles, there are from California, you see these pumps going up and down. So Ken Zayin Efshel Naniach, but still there's no sign on it saying that belongs to a Yid. So therefore, bottom line, Lamaisa. When by me it's choil, then it's mutter for me to have a guy do. I'm not allowed to tell him to do malacha. And if it's nikir that it's malachas Yisrael, there's a sign, it's a shop, everyone knows it's a Jewish shop, I'm not allowed. That's also. But otherwise it's mutter. But when by me it's Shabbos, there is a big tzad to be machmir. There is a big tzad to be machmir. Medaf trachten wegen them. There is, maybe if there's a big hefset, there's a room to be makel, but there is, I think it comes down to very simple. When by you it's Shabbos, you shouldn't have goyim doing work for you. When by you it's choil, then it's mutter. Again, unless there's chilul Shabbos involved.
And even when it's not yet Shabbos in California, it's Shabbos by you. He shouldn't do work for you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is it letting your animals rest?
Today they're doing surgeries remotely. So they have surgeons and who knows where doing surgeries on other people with machines. Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, that
but it's a little different because the Yoda Richter is only by another human being, but there's no shlichus for this. So even though this is Shvis's Kalim, but
Shabbos in your work?
yeah, you have to let them rest. But he's talking about the computer.
It's a side.
You have to. You're mechuyim. But he's talking about computers. You don't have mechuyim to make your computers rest on Shabbos.
so California still it's whatever, Shabbos, whatever.
No, the Shvis Kalim, there's no problem. The only problem would be if he's mechuyev to look at it and be boidik that is he mechuyev to b'shas ma'isa.
It's a 24/7 operation.
It's like a robotic. He does this over here
And then the thing over there, Chaydi go according to where he is. Shvis is Kalim in the Chayach, and only you go by him. So big by him is Shabbos. So he's doing some halacha. Probably is a derabanan. Whatever he's doing here might not be a deraisa, but episode derabanan he's doing. Some issur is probably involved over here. But by him is choil, it should be mutter gamur, yeah.
Hopefully, because the happen is over. Sure.
Legabi other things, not legabi Shabbos. No, not legabi other things. The whole shaila of Nachil, no, it's only legabi other. Everyone holds it's mishum shlichus, and if we say shlichus l'chumra, the shor mitzvahs is a machloiket. Anyway, we pass l'chumra anyway. Hashem pipora, we pass l'chumra and shulchan aruch. But what's the difference? We pass anyway. The din is it's also to for Nachil to do malacha, and I don't think there's a machlok legabi Shabbos. No, I don't think so. I don't think there's a machlok legabi Shabbos. I hear what you're saying. I don't think there's a. I think the machlokes is legabi shor yisurim. I think the machlokes is not legabi Shabbos. Okay, ma'ayin
will be another example of not Shabbos.
Also in Pipora that they asked the guy to when he's playing the field to put a muzzle on the pora. That's where it comes up. And the flow of the Shechon Paschal's Lachumna. But it's Machloikis talking that. Okay, David shall help in the Schus Shmira Shabbos. That the Etzem Indian that this Yid asked the Shaila about how to keep Shabbos, and he's asked keeping Shabbos, and the oil should pump, and so the pump and a mita pump, one a pump, and the barrel should get full, and his pocket should get full. Shkoyach for joining.